So first just lift the arm as normally, and then my suggestion is, I'm filming with my left hand, grab the arm near the pivot. So there is a pivot there, this is the arm, the whipper actually. Grab the whipper with one hand, with your left hand grab the arm so it's steady, and you are just going to rotate the whipper part around the pivot. So it does rotate a little bit free, and then you need to rotate some more and it will unlock. Go gently, don't force, but you need to apply some force. So this is all it takes. I'll show you in a moment the detail. Then just keep rotating about this much. So it's not like this. If you rotate like this, it won't come off. Just so this is the limit of the movement. Just go back a little bit and lift. It should come without any forcing. It's just that it has sort of an angle. You cannot lift it vertically, you cannot lift it on the side, it comes at an angle. Now it's important also when you put it back in place. Let me just show you a close-up. What's happening, this is the groove. This is the groove for the pivot, and right here this piece of plastic, so there is like 1, 2, 3 pieces of plastic. This one here at the bottom at the end has a bump right at the end here, and this bump you need to sort of force on it. Now I did put on mine grease on both sides, so I'm sure if I can just try to focus the camera. Okay, so I did put a bit of grease right around this corner, especially at the bottom here. You will need to force on it, and this piece, if you force and it's pushing at the top of it, it may break this plastic piece. I have someone who said I tried to put it back, this plastic piece broke, he had to replace the entire arm. So my advice, put some grease here and go gently, and if you can, try to push with your screwdriver a little bit, push upwards on this piece when putting back the whipper. So kind of force a little bit to toss it just gently, because it's plastic. Especially if you are in winter time, be very careful, you may break. I suggest you try to do this in summertime. Winter time plastic gets brittle. Okay, now the whipper is going to look like this. You notice it has sort of a groove here. It goes with this groove at the bottom. Okay, not like this, it goes like this. And I'm simply going to place the pivot. Okay, this is the pivot, you can see it. Try to see it from above, or maybe from, I don't know, from an angle. This is the pivot. Just try to place it here, but again, it's coming from an angle. You cannot put it like this, you cannot put it like this. You need to put an angle on it. And let's just try to look past the camera. All right, so basically also at the top here there is a hole. You insert the plastic piece at the hole, and the pivot goes into the groove. So it goes a bit like this, but you need to make an angle, so it kind of goes like this. Now the pivot itself moves very easily, there is no clamping inside, nothing, but you need just to slide the pivot all the way down. You just get it, kind of rotates. You don't need to force at this point. But here's the trick: when you lower it to engage it, this edge here will have to get past that bump. So that bump, the plastic piece that I was talking about, needs to go inside past this edge. You notice there is grease here, so it needs to go inside here. If you don't force correctly, you may break it. So let's try it again. So it's a bit, I would say it's concerning when you put it back in place, because let's move past the camera, because this kind of forcing at this point, the plastic piece at the bottom needs to get into the hole there, but it's actually pushing into the edge of the border of the hole, but it has to go inside the hole. That's the trick here. That's why I did put grease. So make sure you keep it down. There is no need to force on it. Just make sure, just try to gently. My advice, go slowly, and it did engage. That's the whole point here. But if you don't put grease in there, you will find that difficult to push it back in place, and you may even break it like someone else did. Let's just try to remove it again. I'll do it just one hand. So it's not a lot of force, it's just, I don't know how to describe that. And when you put it back in place, go gently, I would suggest. Make sure it's all the way to the bottom of the groove. Yeah, I can tell you it's stressful a little bit, especially when you put it back in place. That's why I do warmly recommend a bit of grease. You can also put grease inside the pivot. So again, there is an angle here, right? I cannot insert it vertically or from the sides. There is kind of, not sure what the angle is. It's a bit like this, okay? It's an angle. And about at this angle, okay, so at this point, when you move it like this, it's secure. Don't worry, put it down. Hopefully you don't break it, okay?